Good evening, Fiji, and welcome to For the Record. In August this year, Fiji Pine, the state-owned enterprise, paid off a loan it recently secured from government to clear a 28-year-old debt. Widely publicized and discussed by many, $2.4 million from government was used to finally settle a loan it obtained from the European Investment Bank in 1985. It's almost unheard of for a state-owned enterprise to repay a loan that quickly. We're glad to have the Executive Chairman of Fiji Pine Limited and the Chief Executive Officer of its subsidiary company, Tropic Wood Industries Fiji Limited, Mr. Faiz Khan, with us this evening. Bulabanaka, Mr. Khan. I know that you're an extremely busy man, and thank you so much for taking the time, making some time for us this evening. Now, welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here, Padeli.
Now, my first question to you. You're a lawyer by profession, right? And you've been with, well, the CEO for Tropic Wood for two years, slightly over 2 years?
2 years and 9 months.
2 years and 9 months. Now, what made you make that decision to join Tropic Wood?
At the end of February 2011, I was approached by the Prime Minister and the Attorney General to take up the position temporarily, say for about 3 months or so until they look for a CEO. At first I had refused, but after considering I took it up. Mm-hmm. It was only for 3 months at the time. And as I got in the job, things started changing for the better, and that relationship has continued, and I'm still there.
Well, we know about the success so far, but at that time, yeah. How did your family, friends take it? What kind of comments did you get? Did you get any?
Well,
especially with the controversy around Tropic Wood at that time.
Well, we knew from the media and many other reports that things were not going right at Tropic Wood, and there was quite a bit of mess over there. Mm-hmm. But I didn't look at the financial accounts or look at what the status of the company was at this stage. I basically went in blind, and I learned as I was in the job of the challenges that were there. For example, when I got in, there were about $3 million of stale checks sitting with the accountant. Now, I didn't know about it. I only got to know about it when those stale checks were brought back to me for re-signing, because after 6 months the check gets stale. So although the books were showing that trade creditors had been paid off, checks were written, but the checks had not even been released from the office. So those are things I discovered whilst in the job. So yeah, I just went in blind, and I must say I went in with the view that if I bring my honesty and integrity to the organization, which it seemed that it was lacking, and I made decisions based on logic, good business decisions, the turnaround would be there. So you may call it a bit stupid and foolish, but that was what went through my mind at that time. Okay. Yeah.
Now, you learnt afterwards, but what do you think may have caused all this disarray, so to speak?
Well, I've touched, and it's widely publicized that there was mismanagement and abuse. Mm-hmm. But I think looking at it in hindsight and probably making a business decision, mm-hmm. A business assessment, analysis of what went wrong, I think there are a number of things. Firstly, in the 90s, Fiji Pine and Tropic Wood had secured a lot of money through bonds. These bonds matured in 2008, 2009. They were about $12 million worth, and the company had never prepared to pay for those bonds. So all of a sudden, it had this task to pay for the bonds. It didn't have the ability. It paid off the bonds by borrowing more from other financial institutions. So that was one. Secondly, I believe that the company made a bad decision in investing in its cogeneration power plant, which costed about $33 million. That power plant has given many problems to us. It has never really worked well. It has got some design issues. And the tariff rates are not good. Contrary to what my friend Mr. Hasmukh Patel might say, to you. We get 15 cents per kilowatt hour as in our tariffs, and our cost of fuel itself is about 18 cents a kilowatt hour. It is a no-brainer that we're not making money out of it.
Yes.
So that was that. That was a bad investment, I think. Thirdly, in 2009, the world chip market really went down, and the company is reliant very heavily on chip sales. And it was about 65% of our business. And we hadn't entered the Chinese market until then. We have entered that market now. And we were not prepared to deal with it. So things really, financially, a lot of things happened around the same time. And this was an accumulation, I guess, of problems that were from the 90s, yes. And it sort of hit all at the same time. Yes, we've had a worse year than 2009, and that was last year.
That was quite recent,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, last year the wood chip market was very bad. It was worse than, but we were prepared. We had done a number of things, and we were more prepared to deal with that situation.
And that's what I was going to ask you, Nis.
Yeah.
Like, you've complete turnaround.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, how with all the preparedness, and how did the staff, or is there anything drastic that you implemented?
We can talk about little things, but I think overall, I'm there to make the best risk and opportunity assessments. I'm there to identify risks and mitigate them, and look for opportunities to grow the business. And then I guess the subplots. There are many other subplots. I must drive productivity. I must become efficient and reduce cost of doing business. I must really work hard. In a large organization, I think the best CEOs have a very good HR policy. I'm very much involved in that HR. So I'm very much involved in our HR policy. I believe that people who work hard must be rewarded. And I must say that Tropic Wood is one of the better paying organizations in Fiji at the moment. And that's many people have received increments in their pay.
We've just heard one recently, yes?
Yes.
You brought up the levels of pay for other staff?
That I think you may be confusing it. That was
that's with AFL.
That was for Airports Fiji Limited.
Excuse me.
But I also will say, I believe that we are one of the best paying organizations, and many things have changed for the better in the recent past. But we still don't get along well with our union. It's an ongoing battle, and I fail to understand that. But that's something we'll deal with
as you go along.
As you go along.
Okay. Yeah. Well, very quickly, now you received 6.7 million from Fijian Holdings, and this was to facilitate the chipping equipment at the Wairiki plant. Now, how is that going?
Very well.
Very well.
Very well. There was a reason to acquire. There was a contract in place where we were paying very large sums of money every month to a particular company. I think from memory it was $417,000 a month.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
And it was not really based production based. It was fixed. So whether you chipped one ton of logs a month, or you chipped 30,000 tons, you would get 417,000 VP. So we had to change that. So we negotiated with the company to buy off the assets, and amicably we came to a resolution, and it was just a no-brainer that we should buy that. And we bought it at the price. We verified, we did our due diligence in terms of the invoices, etc., and we paid the right price for it.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to have to wrap up now, just quickly. We'll be back with the Chief Executive Officer of Tropic Woods Fiji Limited. Stay with us right here on For the Record. Welcome back to For the Record, and with us this evening is the Executive Chairman of Fiji Pine Limited and also the CEO of Tropic Woods Industries. Now, tell us, there was a joint venture that was signed earlier this year with exporting biomass chips, but I understand there's a change, or there's a hold
Yes.
to this venture. Please, could you just clarify just a little bit?
Correct. There is a hold on producing biomass for export, but we are now trying to develop a partnership with the same company, rather than exporting our biomass, producing power out of that. We, as I have alluded earlier, we haven't had a very good experience with our own power generation.
Yes.
There is a reason for that. We don't have the expertise, I believe, in Fiji. So with this Korean company, Jimco is the name of that company, they have a number of biomass power plants in Korea. So of course they come with a lot of experience. So we believe that there is a good synergy in place, that provided, yes, the tariff rates are right, we could really assist in developing that industry in Fiji. And I don't think it's just something that is going to be good for Tropic Wood and our stakeholders, our landowners, but it'll be something that will be good for the nation as a whole. Because you know, the whole argument that you are substituting the import of diesel fuel when you are producing power locally through renewable energy sources such as biomass.
Well, we're glad for that clarification. There's another clarification that, that was also highlighted in our news in the past few months. It's the frustrations and allegations that have been, being warned by some consumers who wish for a clarification on the manufacturing of the standards of marine ply. Now, from our understanding, that marine ply is also produced by one of your subsidiary companies.
Sure.
Yes. And
yes.
would you be able to just explain what are the differences in the standards? Like, is there a difference in the quality standards of marine ply?
Well, I must clarify, Padeli. There has been some talks about it in the media, but not for the product that we supply.
Okay. What is the product that you supply?
The plyboard that we supply out of Fiji Forest Industries in Lambasa, Fiji Forest Industries is our subsidiary in Lambasa, is the best quality. In fact, it's so good that the Australians want to import it. We don't have enough to export it to them. So the quality issues that came up were for other producers of marine ply.
Okay.
Yeah. I must expand a little further that we, one of the biggest challenge we have in producing marine ply is the resources, the lack of resources rather. We don't have enough resources to maximize our production.
So obviously that is why we have this shortage of quality marine ply.
Yeah. There is a huge shortage of native species of timber in Vanua level. It's been heavily logged, so we struggle with the species such as dakua, etc., which are needed to make. And also mahogany can be used to make marine ply, but we don't have access to mahogany at the moment.
Okay. We'll touch on this a little bit later. But government, in its recent budget announcement, has said that people can buy prefabricated homes from overseas with a significant number. There's a certain, I believe, 3%? 5%? Okay. 5% which make that we've already had companies selling the same product and using local timber.
Sure.
Yeah? Now, like pine, would this have any impact on our local pine wholesale and retail businesses?
Well, I don't think so. My belief is that's a great move by the government, reducing the duty rate from 32% to 5%, because the cost of housing, where to build a good basic 3-4 bedroom house costs around $60,000. I believe that will be probably halved. So it's good for the nation, and I believe it creates a new economy. It creates a new business. It will not affect the existing businesses that we have, and the demand for timber will always be there. In fact, when you have prefab houses coming in, look, I mean, it's going to come as a logo, jigsaw puzzle, which you put up together in 2-3 weeks' time. But I don't think it'll affect the demand for timber.
Okay. Now, how sustainable is our pine timber industry? Recently, the Forestry Department came up with figures in our news that said that indigenous forests are being depleted by over an alarming rate. And it's almost close to 50%, I believe. And they say that there's almost like 20 years of indigenous forest life. Yeah? And is the present replanting program is sufficient to sustain our timber industry? What do you think?
Well, I'm not an expert on native species timber, but I can tell you about the pine industry.
Yes.
Which is softwood timber. We, from 2011, we identified the need to put all our efforts into planting, because that's the future. You don't plant, you don't have a future. So in 2011, we spent close to in 2012, we spent close to $3 million. And from 2011, we have been planting 2 to 3 times more than what we have been harvesting. So there was a huge gap during those periods where I highlighted in 2008, 2009, the company had all these financial burdens, that from the past that had, all come at the same time. The planting had stopped. So
there was no planting
there was
whatsoever?
No planting whatsoever. I'm not sure. I think it's 2008. There was completely zero planting. So we actually went and revived all our nurseries. We spend, Pedeli, sometimes up to $50,000 a week in our planting. So we will not see the benefit next year.
No.
That benefit will come in 15, 25 years' time, depending on what usage we are going to apply those logs to, whether it's wood chip or timber. So, but that doesn't mean that I'll stop planting today, because it's my responsibility to ensure that we have a sustainable timber industry, sustainable pine industry, and we are on track. We are on track to get sustainability back in Viti level and Banwa level. We've just started our harvesting last year, so but we are making sure that when as soon as we harvest, we will be planting those areas. So yeah, it's moving in the right direction.
That's great news. It's moving in the right direction, and we are replanting as well for the future too. And it comes to an end to this particular segment, but we'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to For the Record. We're still with the Executive Chairman of the Fiji Pine Group of Companies Limited and the CEO of its subsidiary company, Tropic Wood Industries, Mr. Faiz Khan. Now, how is your relationship with the key stakeholders and also the land-owning units of various, projects that you have?
Very importantly, you've mentioned that they're the key stakeholders of our industry. The relationship had sort of taken a downturn when I joined the company in 2011, or before I had joined the company in 2011. And we worked really hard from 2011 to rebuild that relationship, because there was a lot of mistrust. That was the root cause of our relationship that had broken down. We did many things. We had our back against the wall in 2011 with our finances being so poor. But we did not hesitate to make right decisions. For example, many of the land leases were on $3 a hectare, and the new leases were being taken up for $11 a hectare. It didn't make sense that, just because you had entered into a lease agreement years ago, today you were only paying $3, whereas for new ones you were paying $11. We made those decisions voluntarily, where we advised TLTB to increase all the land leases, the rate to $11. So it built the trust back. We have this year we'll be paying a record amount in profit sharing, which we call stumpage, of more than $1 million. We will be paying about $1 million in levies, development levies this year. So I take a personal interest in meeting with the landowners personally. And for example, on Tuesday I'm going to Bua and I'm going to have a meeting with the landowners. They want to ask me certain business questions on how to use the development money that is sitting with them. About $400,000 is sitting with them. So I take that interest. I'm not supposed to, technically speaking, but I take the effort to go. Because it's important to have a good relationship. And I think that confidence and that relationship was translated into lease renewals in 2012 of the Bar Close area, which is around our mill. So the closer the land is to your mill, the better the land is. And that lease renewal process was ongoing for 8 years prior to that. And I managed to get it renewed. Of course, I must say we managed to get it renewed in terms of the team effort by the workers, who have been remarkable since I have joined, and they have been, really assisting me and helping me. And so yeah, it's a great relationship at the moment, I must say.
And obviously driving this success that you're experiencing.
Yes,
correct.
Yes.
Well, with these land owners, are they also, obviously, it generates a lot of employment for them, yes?
Yes, correct. Substantial and significant, I must say. Also, in the last 1 year, we've generated 450 additional employments through the pine resin business that we have started. So these 450 new employments with the landowners. So it's good for the whole relationship, for us to make decisions which is going to boost the company in terms of its growth, and also eventually the benefits will trickle down to the landowners, who are key stakeholders. It's our driving force that we must deliver on the promises we make. That's very important. We made many promises when we did the opening in Bua of the Wairiki chip mill that we set up in 2011, 2012. And we are delivering on those promises. That's important. You can't make promises and not deliver on them. So you must have a good business plan.
Now, you're a man with many hats, yes? You're also the chairman of Airports Fiji Limited, which recently embarked on a very ambitious $75 million project to improve Nandi International Airport, bringing up the standards to international standards. And what can we expect in terms of structural change at Nandi Airport? Is it going to be...
Well, the major structural change will be in the departure check-in lounge. So as you go to the international departure check-in lounge, you've got very low ceilings. It's about 2.5 meters at the moment. We will take it up to 7.5 meters. So that whole departure check-in lounge, the roof is going to go. So that's where the major structural change will come in. Further, we are going to add onto the space in the departures lounge. So as you go after immigration and you go up the escalator, we're adding about 2,000 square meters.
Okay.
Yes. Of space over there.
Of space. So that's a little bit of a change. That's quite a bit of a change. What about a runway size? Is there any change to that?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay. We do have runway resurfacing that we may be doing in the next couple of years.
Okay.
But not an extension at the moment.
Are there any arrangements with your current tenants? How is it going to change for them in the new refurbished airport?
Well, we want to go out and get market rates.
Okay.
One of the historical issues has been, that we are not getting market rates. So we want to be fair. We want to go out and enter into contracts which are based on a willing landlord and willing tenant. We don't want to force anybody. So whatever is the best rate, we get, it'll be good for us. It'll be good for the country. And of course we want quality. You look at some of the food and beverages outlets that are there, you pay a lot of money.
I understand.
but you don't get quite what you want. So those are some of the things.
Okay. Now, with these changes, will we be also seeing some changes maybe in fees at the airport? Parking fees perhaps? Or
no intentions of increasing the parking fee.
Okay.
I mean, the parking fee is very reasonable compared to what you pay in other international airports around the world, because you've got to understand that airport space is prime real estate property.
Yes.
And you cannot deny that.
No.
That's there. So, you know, the changes have to, if there are any changes, they have to be fair and equitable, and we must be able to justify that.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mr. Khan, we're running out of time, so I'm going to ask you very quickly,
Sure.
what do you envisage now for Airports Fiji Limited?
The best, I guess.
The best?
I want the best. I want us to contribute honestly, with a high level of honesty and integrity, and bring in the best people to do the job, and deliver. You know, you've got a limited amount of money. At the end of the day, one of the biggest issues, you know, has been the lack of proper investment in capexes, you know, across state-owned entities. So we must ensure that the capital upgrades is done in a way where the money is well spent, because then you get your returns, and then you're able to justify the capital investment.
Well, there's still a lot more that we'd love to ask, but unfortunately time has caught up with us. Thank you again for being with us this evening.
It's a pleasure.
And for more comments and questions, you can send them to fortherecord@fbc.com.fj. Once again, this is all that we have in time for this evening, and we hope that you join us again next week right here on For the Record. Good night, Fiji.